Hello, and welcome to Level Up Your Talents Abroad, a series of inspiring interviews of expats where we uncover through their story what talents they have developed. We are exploring the behind the scene because too often we only see the end result of an expatriation, but we miss out on the process and what it really takes to get where they are today. I'm your host, Angus Lundy, and today we'll welcome Amandine. Hi, Amandine.
Hello, Anne. Hello, everyone.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm very good, thank you. We're thrilled to have you with us today. And thank you again for sharing your story and what it really takes to get where you are. So, to start, could you please give us some context so we know a little bit of your story?
Yeah. So the story starts in Paris in 2020, in January exactly. Um, I think I was, the typical Parisian person, like being super stressed, like having this super fast life, like going outside a lot, meeting my friends, going to theater, museum, etc. And also, like at the time, we were at the office every day. So really, the commuting, being with people all the time, the crowd. But at some point, I felt a bit blocked in my career first. And then I guess I was overwhelmed by the high expectation I had in my life. And I was like, okay, maybe I need to go back to my Erasmus area. I made my Erasmus in Spain, in Madrid. So, Spain was in my mind. And I decided to apply in January 2020. And I made all the process of interviews until having my contract in March, the day of the closure of border in 2020, so just before the COVID.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
something. Like
mm,
you were planning everything like perfectly to move to Spain,
exactly.
and
And then
then
suddenly, yeah.
COVID arrived and then it shut down. So I'm wondering like how did you so you have everything in place and but now you have to make a decision, a bold decision, like what do you do? What happened in your mind at that time?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a difficult decision, of course. It's not easy to say that you will just, leave your family, your friend, your comfort zone. Um, but I guess I needed that. Like, I needed to remove everything, like say, okay, I just quit everything from the table and start from scratch, kind of. Um, but it was still step by step because I decided to apply. And then I felt comfortable during the interview. I felt comfortable with people. Also, it was within the same company I have. I didn't change company, right? I just changed the country. So I was like, actually, I can do it. So it
Yeah.
was baby step, like try, interview, getting some knowledge, talk to people, and then, okay, actually, I can do it.
So you felt very confident about that move with your company.
I think I felt confident because I was prepared,
Okay.
which is maybe a key. If I
Hmm.
had a message to pass, I think preparation is important. Um, just to know where you will land. So knowing a bit, I had some calls even about social insurance in Spain, with local people, so with French people who moved in Spain already. I also, before my interview, I was like, oh, I haven't speak Spanish for 3 years. Maybe I should talk to someone in Spanish just in case, before the interview. So yeah, preparation made me feel confident. So I would say yes, but thanks to preparation.
Okay. So you what you prepare is most of it is the what we call the logistic administration. So how does this work? Because before you move as a student and now you move as like with a working visa and ready to leave couple of years, right?
Exactly.
So it's a different mindset. There is no way back. When you're a student, you know you come back. But it's so the mindset is very different. So you prepared the logistic wisely. You moved at the time of COVID. Okay, I understand that when you make that decision, you didn't know what was coming after, of course. So, but so the question about like when you land, you think you are fully ready because you check all the boxes, but what you were leaving in the first year was very drastically different and very exceptional. We have to say that. So what happened in your mind at that time, like leaving that very specific moment in time? You thought you were prepared for something, and then reality hits.
Yeah, there is something I feel while living abroad is that I feel that my feelings are more vivid. Like I feel more than before. Um, because obviously, when I was in France, I knew the system, I knew the language, I had my friends forever, I had my family. But here I'm like exposed to everything, like almost naked, you don't have any protection and you have to learn everything. So, and even in Spain, like first you can say, oh, it's a neighbor country. It's fine, the culture is similar. But
And you have
actually,
been there in the past, right? So it's
I've
not
been there,
totally.
so yeah, I know the city center. But then you come and you say, okay, no, that's not that easy. And every step, which could be normal in France, is actually different in Spain. For example, doctor. Like you come, you have something, but you have to explain. So you have to find your vocabulary. You have to understand what the person is saying, right? So it's like a double exercise, like double fight in a sense. Um, but which was for me super rich because now for every new things in my life I'm like, oh, I can do it because I already have that double constraint, when you face any new situation.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing here is like being vulnerable allows you to learn.
Exactly.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. And so what took you by surprise? Okay, you say the doctor, but is there anything else that stands out, like a specific challenge in the workplace or anything?
Yes. I mean, when I moved, I was 26, so still young, even in my career. um, and I'm someone who is really organized. Okay, I know where I like when things are at their place, and when it's really structured. But even within the same company, in Spain, they have different processes. So first I had to adapt, like understand how they are doing things, how they approach, bringing still my strengths, because maybe my way of thinking and what I learned is not maybe it is actually really impactful in the company, but at the same time taking that more relaxed approach, like, okay, we have to do that, but we can do that on that way, maybe we can actually collaborate better, and just doing things differently, which is linked to culture. So it took me, yeah, a bit out of guard, because I was like, oh, it's an American company, so maybe we just apply the same process. But it was not the case, because local was important.
Okay, yeah. The way it works in one country might not be exactly the same because of the culture. The company
Exactly.
culture can be very
Yes.
different. On the flip side, what was the nice surprise you had?
People. Yeah, I guess maybe a lot of people will answer that, but there is a huge chance of sensory of community in Spain, at least in Madrid, because I live here, so I can talk about that. But people are open, people smile at you in the streets. Um, what also surprised me is that the street is not just a way to go from a place to another. It's actually a place to stay and to meet each other, and yeah, when you go outside, you just have people everywhere, at day, at night. just, being with friends, chilling, even old people. So yeah, that sense of friendship, community, being together was really, really pleasant.
So it's been 5 years now that you moved to Madrid. How much do you feel settled?
I would say, I mean, my goal since the beginning was to be integrated. So really feel that Spanish type. So I made everything to actually reach that statement. Um, so obviously, if we go back to the context, it was COVID 1 week before for the anecdote. I was like, I'm going to Madrid and I don't know anyone. Maybe I should do something because I was like, So I decided before going to go already to Facebook and some communities, even Neoma Alumni, to search people who are settled in Madrid and say, hey, do you want to have a drink? Like, should we meet or language exchange? Or, already trying to plant seeds before going. So then when I came here, I already had some contacts. And then it's an everyday work, let's say, like entering in community, meet people, saying yes to invitation, going back to the office, trying to, to say, hey, let's have a drink after work. So this is a journey. Maybe, I mean, I think, after 5 years, it's not finished, obviously. But yeah, it was my plan to be settled along the year and feeling more and more Spanish.
What, so what is, according to what you say right now, what is your definition of feeling settled?
I think for me, it's just feeling well where you are, like being happy to be in the city, um, feeling that you have friends and the community, especially because, obviously I don't have my family here. So if I need to see someone, do I have people close enough to feel at home? So once again, it was starting from scratch. So I needed to like create my surrounder, like my community around me. So yeah, feeling settled is feeling great and having a circle around me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have a different definition or if it can evolve maybe between countries.
Everyone, I believe everyone has his own because it's a feeling. So
Mm,
everyone has his own definition. If you ask me, for me, with 20 years living abroad, what makes me feel home is actually the people. The
mm,
people ground me in a country. Otherwise, you feel like a tourist, like, yeah, I'm
mm,
just gonna see this, see that, but you're just not connected to the country. This is the people are grounding you in the country and are a home you can always change, It's
yeah,
just different. Doesn't a home doesn't ground me. That would be more in the people because that's the experience, the sharing experience makes amazing memories, and that what
mm,
makes your stay memorable. Okay. That's my definition. Um, but I'm sure I'd like to ask this question because I truly believe for each of us it's going to be different. So, uh, you were talking about, we touched a little bit on when you start working in this company, you felt different cultures, different way of doing things, different way of working. And also in the daily life, you like the fact that people are in the street connecting and it's a real place to live. What soft skills you had to develop in order to adapt better to this new environment
you mean at work precisely or in
at
general?
work and in your daily life?
Um, I think at work, I had to put myself in a position of watching before acting,
Mhm.
which is actually now because I changed job recently, and obviously when you change job you're new, so you have to learn. So I knew how to observe, see what people were doing, see what could work, and then act. So it was really important at the beginning in Spain, because obviously it was a new role, new people, new language, new way of working, as I said. So yeah, take a step back, observe, and then adapt. And then in my real life, real life, well, in my normal life,
In your personal life?
exactly, in my personal life, um, I think the soft skill, which was the most important for me, was to go out of my comfort zone. Because in the past, and maybe it's also linked to age, right? I was more quiet. I was more, okay, I'm going to do my job, but I don't want to have a lot of exposure. But actually, when you're abroad and you don't know anyone, you have to go out. You have to take that step forward. So it was a kind of challenge even for me to grow my comfort zone like every day. So it started with just talking to people in a store. Like maybe I'm gonna ask if they are okay today, or if they have a new product, maybe, or just that small talk. And then like being bold and say, okay. I remember when I started to go to the office, we still had like glass doors at the restaurant between people. So I was eating with a friend with that glass door, like in prison, So we were eating with that in front, and I had to understand Spanish, with the noise around,
Oh my
and
God,
then that
that's
glass doors.
complicated.
But I was like, no, I'm gonna go every Thursday to have that, and to try to connect with him, try to improve my Spanish, and just have that new challenge ticked, in a sense. um, so yeah, I think you don't realize when you're abroad, but you're developing a lot of skills. um, Adaptation, creativity, even sometimes, because when you don't have the vocabulary, you have to describe, right? So you have to adapt, and find a lot of new tricks to be understood and just enjoying at the end.
Yeah, and I imagine like this conversation through that glass, that was really, well, yeah, you had to guess what he was. You couldn't hear properly, right? So you had
No,
to guess a lot. So I bet you were like watching every also body language and everything. So
yes,
you really, you really like listen to the person, like be very present. I
yeah.
think it was, yeah,
Yeah,
interesting,
fortunately, it was a one-to-one, because in group it would have been awful.
complicated,
Mm.
definitely. Looking back on your experience, is there anything you would have done differently?
No, I don't think so, because for me, it's a learning journey. Like, obviously, I could have done things differently, or maybe coming a year after, or, being more prepared, or language, or technical aspects. But at the end, everything that you do is something that you learn. Every failure is actually learning. So, I mean, as I said at the beginning, I was preparing myself, so I didn't come without any knowledge. So I think, I did what I had to do, and then just learning in the everyday life.
So how do those learnings influence your decision today?
I think I dare more doing things. So I was thinking about my new job as a global role. I think I would have not apply if I were in a different context, because when you think about global, it's like, oh, I have to speak English and I have to talk to maybe more influent people. And maybe I would have said, no, I'm going to wait a bit, like to be, I don't know, 40 or something. But no, now I know that I can handle it. I can handle the language. I can handle, as I said, meeting new people, stay quiet and observe, adapt. I have my opinion, but I can at the same time listen to others, because when you're abroad, you're with people who are not like you in a sense. Like you're with people with a different um, background, a different way of looking at things, like apprehend. So it's not like I'm not narrow-minded with just my way of thinking, because I know that other people can have a different vision. So I can actually, like take their opinion or exchange and having that cultural mix. So yeah, I'm more open-minded and I'm more bold.
Nice, very nice. So at the end, this being vulnerable allowed you to really develop your talents and go out of your comfort zone and
Yeah,
really,
I think
really
when you go abroad, you
create
have to.
opportunities.
Yes.
So to wrap up this conversation, imagine your best friend is moving to Spain next month. What are your top 3 pieces of advice?
First, I would say maybe prepare yourself, just to be comfortable when you come. Like, okay, you are in a totally new situation, but at least you have something that you know. And as advice, you will always have people in your network who move to Spain at some point. So either, once again, alumni, people in your company, friends of friends. So you could be ready just a bit, just to feel that confidence on day one. Then I would say dare to go outside, try to try a new network, try a new restaurant, try to talk to people. And the last one would be enjoy every day, because every day you can have something different, discovering something, eating new thing, learning a word. Every day is interesting.
Thank you so much, Amandine, for this conversation, for your insight, for sharing your journey, and also, yeah, everything you have and your talents that you have developed, because it's truly inspiring. To our listeners, we hope that you find this conversation inspiring and valuable. And don't forget to register our live Q&A and follow us on our LinkedIn page. All links are in the description below. So see you soon for the next episode.